Let's see what you have here on Bind, since we haven't seen you here before. But it's gonna be very, very interesting. We are going into Ascent first. I do remember that like little bit of a social clip where most players said that like Ascent definitely has to go because it's such a boring map. But what is interesting whenever we see teams like this on Ascent is that you get like the raw mechanics down. It's very default map, so it's like it's time to show these players how far they can really take their aggression.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, boring is reliable, and Zest is fantastic on this map. We already saw Bleed have a lot of success on this map, so I think it makes sense that, if it's going to be left available, Bleed have to pick this one up. So I'd say this is going to be their best shot to actually get ahead of PRX and take an early map win, and then maybe, shake their mental for map 2, which is going to be difficult with it being Bind, but at least you give yourself a good chance to get ahead of PRX.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit worried though, Valdez. I mean, okay, so Bleed's map pool so far has been like Ascent, you got a little bit of Icebox. Lotus for sure has been one of their strongest things. The way that they control the map on defense is incredible. But as we go into a map like 13-4, that looked like a complete destruction, a complete deconstruction of DFM, for example. PRX, we haven't seen that so far, and they always try something interesting. They've brought in the Harbor in the past. How does that work out now, especially with like Ye starting to pop off again, Darien starting to show up a lot more of the support? It's gonna be something that you really want to keep your eyes on, because these players like Zest, Darien, Ye, for example, can really bring so much to the team. PRX, on the other hand, it's like, you're not quite sure. They start off really strong, but ever since that loss against Team Secret, I'm very nervous, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it could happen, right? I mean, we haven't seen, this is a matchup that we have, seen in like the old days of APAC, right? Granted, those are very different rosters, but I mean, at one point, I believe Redla was on like both teams, right? He does have history with both teams.
Really long time ago.
A really, really long time ago. Back in my day, in the VCT day. But
Tita Mika, sorry.
Tita Mika coming out here. But yeah, I do believe like Bleed has never ever beaten PRX, but again, they did not have this powerhouse of a roster. This is a roster that I keep telling this to, like, for example, we were discussing this with Paper Thin. On paper, this roster actually works. It's just that the chemistry is not quite there yet. Right now, let's jump into our predictions, though. Sometimes like we write up predictions. Wait, what is that question mark? Hang on, production. What is that question mark? Okay, so as you can see, very clearly, there is an underdog here, and we are favoring PRX for very obvious reasons. What is that question mark? We have to know. We have to know. I remember like when production asked me for like my predictions. And I said, can Azurai go first as it was written? Azurai Gaib.
Azurai Gaib.
So our Muad'Dib says that it's going to be a PRX here, as it was written. He gets his own separate prediction at this point. So Quack, do you think that is that will come true to be, even though he's on the casting desk and not here on the panel?
If the prophet says so, then we gotta believe him. I mean, like, that's the only prediction that actually matters. So yeah, PRX today, I guess. But I do feel that actually Bleed has a really good chance, because you never quite know what kind of surprises they might have. On Bind in the past, they've played with a lot of like post-plant lineups. They're very patient, very EMEA/EU styled influenced team. And PRX sometimes can get a little bit too tunnel vision, too aggressive, and that's where Bleed can actually strike against them.
That's very true. Valdez, and what do you think? Is this going to be a very one-sided match?
I don't think so. I think that Bleed definitely are ramping up, as I said before, and I think this is kind of a perfect storm for them to slowly, over time, to build up. And yes, like, the predictions will be like, okay, we got to go for one team. We have to choose one. PRX, I think it kind of makes sense that everybody is going for them in this case, but I wouldn't count Bleed out. I would say that they definitely have a chance here, and it is going to be a pretty interesting match, and it's up to them to make it interesting.
And you're not just saying that because we have Legia over here joining us on the desk, right? Legia, please come on. We have a quick we have time for a quick interview with you, and you get Tacti Bear. Hello, nice to see you, sir. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. You have this Tacti Bear here. You may take custody of him for the time being. So, of course, this is a very big match. You guys have a very big week, actually. Can you let us know how the team is feeling coming into this final week of the regular season?
I feel okay. I think obviously we didn't have a great start in the league, and I think it also comes to that we only had like 1 month with the team, and our communication is also not the best, so it like takes a little bit time to get like all the maps like together, I guess.
I like that you brought up the communications because I was quite curious about that because I believe in an interview Darion said that it has been getting better and we do see that coming into play with the matches of Bleed, right? Can you compare how the team was like from day one of stage 1 versus like the team now? Like how far have they improved?
I mean, it's really, I'll be honest, it's like still a lot that we need, especially like because of Zest. I think his English needs to improve, but he's learning himself like every night after practice. He goes in his room for 2-3 hours, just really practice English, and I think that helps. Obviously, it improved a little bit, but to play on this high level, you have to have like a little bit more fluent communication than what we do, especially because if you have game plans, you need to adapt during the game. You don't always play like your regular game plan that you have in practice, so you have to adapt, and then like if there's some small mistakes in the communication, the round gets a little bit lost, and I think it showed a lot in previous games. But yeah, we just have to keep going and keep improving, I guess.
Yeah, there's an additional layer that, of course, the team has to go through because of that, right? And to do it in such a short span of time as well is quite difficult for the team.
Yeah, I was curious for you as a coach, talking with your team, you know, day in, day out, and you know, even during the matches. How does your job as a coach really factor into this team, and like, what are you doing in order to try to like get your team in the right mindset and in the right place to, you know, slowly improve over time, and especially coming into a big week like this against a couple of big teams? Like, how do you get them mentally prepared as a coach?
I mean, I think I don't think I have to do that much in case like preparing them mentally. I think everybody has to find his own way of how to deal with pressure, with all the stuff that the community is saying or whatever. Like everybody himself, I think individually has to do it. I think that we should have more confidence than we showed before, just because of our practice results, because they are way better than we actually showed here. And I think also that was partly a little bit my mistake, because I tried to do a little bit too much focusing on game plans for our previous games, which like was a little problem that I said, like with the communication, that we could not really adapt, and we made small mistakes in our default. So I said we will just focus on our game that we play in practice and see what the outcome is, because we really show much better games in practice than we do on stage. Of course, there's like on stage you have a little bit more pressure and all these things, but it's okay. We are professionals. We have to deal with it somehow and find a way to how to deal with it. So yeah.
Right, and if anything, I do have a little bit of question. I think a lot of the fans, we've all kind of heard about Ye and the Chamber, right? Does he want to play Chamber or not, and why? Like, sticking him on Duelist? I know Darren can Duelist as well from like NYG days.
If Chamber would be a really strong agent, more teams would play him, okay? That's the first thing. I think Chamber is not really that good. On some maps he's viable. You can play him on Lotus, for example. I think last shows also pretty decent performance on Sunset. But I think first of all the agent is not that good, and second of all, Ye himself doesn't want to play him also. I offered him and gave him the option if he wants to play it, if he feels more comfortable on it. He said no, he feels fine on race. I personally think also he's good on race, especially in practice. His performance is actually really good in practice, and I think for him it was more of a pressure kind of thing. He's a very, very famous player, very big following, and there's a lot of negative comments about him, and as a player it gets into your head. It doesn't matter how much experience you have, it will be in your head and it will haunt you. Especially for him, it was quite a long period. Hopefully we broke the ban now and we see how it goes.
Yeah, it's a lot to deal with, right? Especially since, you know, it was one of the biggest news, of course, coming into VCT Pacific. I wanted to ask you, like, is there a player on Bleed that surprised you this season, whether it's in-game or out of game? Is there a player that, like, caught you off guard during your time here in Seoul that maybe went, like, the extra leg for the team?
I mean, not really. Like, if I judge our performance, obviously I cannot really point out. I think Scary plays a very good tournament so far. He has very solid stats, also being the in-game leader and still putting up these numbers, I think is very good. But I think there's like still a huge gap for every player, and we have so much to improve still. So I'm really looking very confident for the future also. Maybe for Split 1 it will be a little bit still too early. I don't know if we can really show our full potential in these last 3 days that we have now here, but I'm pretty sure that for Split 2 we'll be
So you have a pretty rough,
different team.
pretty difficult week ahead with PRX and
Lama
then DRX, but
lama,
it feels
anjay.
like, in a lot of our opinions, that Bleed is slowly getting better and better, and PRX obviously just had that pretty big loss against Team Secret. So how do you feel like your guys' chances are coming into this match?
I mean, I definitely think that we have chances. Obviously, they are on paper the stronger team. There's no doubt about that. But I also think for us, playing the stronger teams and being the underdog might be in our card maybe a little bit. And for them, it will be a little bit harder. Maybe they have a little bit pressure. I think they have to also win this game. Or if they lose both other games, they don't make it to playoffs. So we will see. Like, we will just play our game, we will enjoy it, we will have fun, and whatever the outcome is,
Aduh.
that's it.
Well, I hope you have a good game, sir. Thank you so much for
Thank you very
taking the
much,
time out to join us. And best of luck to the team.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Good luck, good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck.
All right, that was a lot of insight from LinkAja because we, we know of course that this roster has like, it's almost like a Hydra. You have like so many different heads. You have so many different ideas from different regions as well. And we're seeing, through that interview, just how many layers you actually have to pull back for a team to come into fruition.
It actually felt like a really earnest, heartfelt interview. I mean, he was like really honest about like, okay, we still got gaps, we're still improving, but I think we have a good chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like, this team, it feels like they still haven't reached their full potential. I think LinkAja knows it. We all know it. We've seen glimpses of their greatness
tadi
from
Bapak
each
apa,
individual
Naik?
player as
Final
well,
form.
right? It's
Not
not their
the
final
final
form.
form.
Not the final form
I just wonder if it's too late, like, can they do it right here, right at the end? Because there's a couple of difficult teams they have to go up against, but I don't know. Maybe
Ali,
this is where we have
udah mulai nih, udah jam 3 nih.
Well, one step at a
Langsung
time first, it is going to be
gaskan,
Bleed versus
dadah.
PRX, a matchup that
Let's
I believe a lot
go.
of APAC fans have been waiting to see on a stage this big. So let's get started as we enter week 4 of VCT Pacific Stage 1.
Lead Esports.
Bleed Esport.
PRX.
Bleed versus PRX. Both of these teams want to see themselves at the playoffs. So it's time to see if PRX bleeds today or if the Rex can still be king. Quack, how are you feeling seeing 2 Singaporean teams on that VCT Pacific stage?
Kind of proud. I know that there's like a big Bleed watch party back home at Scape as well, so like hello to all the people there. But yeah, I mean, this is a very good chance for Bleed to show us what they are made of. They have made a lot of improvements. We heard it from the coach, the fixing in communications. You got Zest back in on the map of Ascent, but everyone has been improving all along the way. Darian, Retla, and even Scary as the IGL.
Yeah, I just feel like, it's kind of a perfect storm to give us
Tepuk
a
tangan
really
semuanya,
interesting
tepuk tangan, tepuk tangan,
match.
tepuk tangan.
If Bleed had not been building up, and if PRX hadn't taken a rough loss,
PRX,
maybe we would come into this
PRX.
one and say, oh, PRX going to 2-0, it's not even going to be close. But it becomes an interesting match just because of what we have seen in recent weeks. And yeah, PRX still the favorite, but who knows? I like that question mark.
Yeah, who knows indeed, because we've talked a lot about the rough waters that Bleed, they're going through, but PRX is also an interesting case because we really do see rosters in VCT that go through a roster change and then they roll back. It's very rare to see that, right? So even though Jing was gone for a few months, you already see the effect. You already see how much PRX need to rebuild before they're able to get back everything, right? There was still time lost.
Yeah, a little bit shaky. The race performance is still incredible. Actually, you can compare him to Ye a little bit in some of that respect. But coming back into this, how does he look on Ascent? We haven't seen that in a long time, but he has improved a lot in that game against Global Esports. So what's it going to be like today?
What is it going to be like today? We're going to find out as we head into Ascent. So let's toss it on over to our casters, William and Asarai.
Thank you very much. That's right, William. With Astrai here, it's our first time getting to cast together. So welcome, welcome. And it's the first time we're going to have two Singaporean teams competing against each other here at VCT Pacific.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super excited to see how this kind of pans out because we haven't seen Bleed and PRX actually go up against each other for like, what, 2 years now at this point? And even that tournament wasn't really an off-season tournament. It wasn't Champions or Masters. This is where it really starts to kind of show who gets into maybe the route going to Shanghai.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big deal, especially for a team like PRX, who's always kind of had that spot, right? They usually always had it locked in pretty early on, but now it's not necessarily true anymore. PRX does have to perform well today, and then Bleed, of course, they have to win kind of throughout the entire weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just wanted to also add right now that, you know, out of all the iterations that we've seen from Bleed that has gone up against PRX, the one kind of standing factor has been Durion. He's been playing with this team for the longest time, and now as we head into Ascent, is he going to be the one to kind of lead the charge? Well, alongside Ye, who's going to be playing on the jet.
Yeah, I mean, Bleed's been looking very confident on this map. No big surprise there with the likes of Zest and Ye, their comfort zone. But PRX bringing back a bit of an old comp. I mean, 2023, they used to run Ascent now with the Fade instead of the Sova, but they used to run that Sage for Jing. Now, a lot of people used to wonder, you know, what does Jing play on Ascent? It's always kind of been that Sage if they ever really needed to play it consistently. And I was wondering, you know, do they bring back the Raze maybe even here? You know, stick with the Gecko, things like that? No, they're scrapping what they had at Masters. They're going back to the Sage.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not bad at all. We've seen how, effective the Sage has been for PRX on maps like Icebox. It's a great tool to just kind of complement the aggression that is PRX, right? And since the Sky isn't always viable on certain maps, Sage, I think, is a get-go. And of course, you know, Jake, he's the Battle Sage. He's personified it. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, he's out there, he's up there, he's everywhere with that Sage. So we'll jump right into it. It's going to be map 1, Ascent. Coming out, Bleed's pick, going with what seems to be their most confident map so far, and it's no surprise, you know, even going off of Legia's interview just now, I mean, this is the map that most of these players will have played on for so long. All of them have a very long history here at VCT, so they can kind of stick to the basics. They will be starting on attack.
You're kind of also banking on the fact that Zest is just an absolute god here, right?
Yes.
But obviously that hasn't gone undetected by PRX, so moving forward into this, Bleed still got to have that kind of cautious mindset, knowing that there's a reason why we see the Sage now for PRX.
Defender loh, biasa
Sheriff
langsung
start on attack for
nge-attack.
Bleed. I mean, we see some of these agents, you know, go with that Sheriff early on.
Langsung
But,
Sheriff
I mean,
loh.
yeah, Jets, yes,
Yes.
pick up the Sheriff, but you're on attack. You're going to go in without the Cloudburst. You're really banking on having a good setup, as Bleed's just going to make sure that they take over mid. Now, this is something that Bleed's been consistently doing, is really pressuring mid from the pistol round early on in each round.
Yeah, 100%. Now, rest of Bleed charging up onto mid. Pizza contact for the moment. No one's home for now. But look at this. Door's been closed on market, and Jing still has a wall. So if they try to explode onto that A site, you know that a wall is somewhere there to kind of just stop the flow of Bleed.
Yeah, and with that door closed, with the 0 point not getting anybody without any contact on A main, PRX has a decent idea. They've got a feeling that it's coming. Now with that smoke coming out, they're fairly well aware that wall's going to block. Oh, and
nice.
what a pitch coming in from Divide right through the smoke as well. That's a double kill onto the site, though, with the Sheriff. Yay, not able to land it onto Jing.
One more. That's going to be scary. And Retla trying to do the best that they can, leaving Mindfreak alone in this one. So somehow, Bleed manages to pick up the pace, take the B side, plant the spike down, and force Mindfreak into the 1 versus 2. Does have a dark cover to play something, as well as the pickup on that Sheriff. Knows that Retla's low. If he can get the first pick, that's going to be good. Sees the shot.
Ooh, Mindfreak, let's go.
Mindfreak
Gokil.
clutches with 25 to
Kurang
spare.
turun sih
Yeah, a
itu.
little bit of a smile
Kayaknya
this
mah
time
ya.
as well. You know, just a little bit of a jolly start for good old Mindfreak. Great awareness there. Saw the second shots coming out as well. Knew the second member was also Boathouse on the same side. Just goes through the repeat, lines up the cross right. They line up perfectly for that. Great timing
Heading doang
from
killjoy-nya, coy.
and Jing even hitting the numbers. That, of course, helps a lot in this 1v2 clutch. It's a close one, but the Sheriff, eventually, it goes to hurt Bleed in the end.
Yeah, I like that too. Just hyper-focusing on the wall itself. If you put that wall specifically there and everyone, you know, comes through on the stairs, people that will be coming from Pizza will actually have that first contact, I believe, on the stairs pushers. So really good, how do you call this? Circumventing of PRX of the push of Bleed?
Standing ahead.
All right, the early wall this time, of course. Now with the anti-eco coming out from PaperX, they know that it has to be pistols. Sure, there was a plant, so a force buy wouldn't be completely crazy. Early flash by Devi as well, just to relocate, just to buy time while he wants to explore
Kena thrifty sih
angle.
kocak
Do
sumpah.
have something pushing out very far in mid. Does have that Guardian in hand though.
Yeah, he's totally confident with this one. Jing might be in trouble though. Does get that refrag quite quickly. Wall does stop the rest of Bleed from coming into the B site, but Forsaken's already on the case, gets the first one. Zest tries to challenge, but now Forsaken is very aware.
Wah,
Looking
kayak gitu lagi ya.
Bleed players are
Sambat
coming
aja.
onto a short, using that false kind of contact for Zest, who
Kalau
has the
musuhnya
spike
pakai
on
sheriff
the
aja.
main.
Habis
But then,
tuh.
of course, PaperX not biting into it.
Oh.
That's going to be the drop onto the spike on mid.
Yeah, now both members spotted as well. And during all of this, you had Mindfreak already clearing out A main. So even if they eventually got into the site, it was going to be a pretty easy round. Something will clean
Apaan
up with a
tuh?
triple kill. 2-10, 2 kills with the Guardian. And he's building up towards that Blade Storm.
Yeah, this is what we've seen from
Gitu doang,
PaperX
coy.
for a
Pam,
while
pam.
now, right? They're not just angrily pushing in to get that contact. We've seen this a couple of times now, even in their match against Team Secret, where they like to just control the zones, specifically around the map a lot more. And of course, you know, I love that energy.
You love to see it. Very, very hyped up. We're only into the second round. It makes it look like they've just won, you know, a crazy
champions already.
Yeah, champions or something like that. But now here we go. Bleed, you've got the rifles. You can start to really pressure with your defaults. And they are going to wait, obviously, with the bonus coming in for PaperX, see if there's a push out. But because of the early investment in round 2, PaperX, I mean, it's 4 rifles. It's not exactly quite a bonus. It's more or less a buy round here.
I also have to ask, because I'm not entirely sure about what's happening, but of course, first and foremost, contact. Scary's good. The double swing, Mindfreak's going to get overwhelmed. That is 2 down on A main. A possible sign here for Bleed to start moving their forces onto this right side of the map.
But that moment,
Expect,
that
aduh,
goes
nggak
back to
datang dia
all the
ke
teams that have beaten PaperX in the past, right? We heard it from Jesse Vash, we heard it from
Tadi.
Coach Solo on Gen G. You always have to be ready for trade. Rarely will PaperX ever be peeking out alone, right? If they're pushing, there's going to be someone for the
KAWAN
trade. So Bleed ready for a second member. That's going to be an early pickup. See if they can make this a flawless as Ye dashes in. He's not able to land the entry kill. Devi sneaks right back into the smoke. No one's been able to get in because of the... Oh, and he goes out
satu lagi aja.
for another kill as well. Now down to 3 members. The fragment and then the double from Devi doing wonders for PaperX here on the bonus.
That is beautiful. I mean, there's a little bit of damage onto the remaining players, sure. Might give a chance here for Jing if he somehow manages to pick up a weapon, which he cannot because everything's just been either dropped A main or inside the site. He still has Sheriff. He's still got the wall. You can see that PaperX is just maybe aware that someone could be lurking around short. Now that they've done with it, it's a 2-man push onto Heaven.
Oh.
There's the contact. Both of them get the pick, and the wall right in front of Zest. You don't gotta know to break it, and that's going to be the
Bisa
trap
gitu,
done.
Cok.
Set up. PaperX gets another.
Oh man, my heart breaks here for Bleed because Retla peeks out. He catches sight of Forsaken just coming out of Heaven, but that actually makes Bleed believe
nggak
that the
diliatin lagi
retake
tadi
hasn't really
gimana tadi
started
Jingnya.
yet, and Jing's already all the way past. He's ready to go for the drop, and they have
Replay,
no
replay,
idea.
replay.
I mean, that peak actually cost Bleed a little bit, and you can't blame
Ini
Retla. It's
mantap banget
just
sih.
timing
Pam
here
dapat 2.
that's favored. But Devi, great fragment, breaks apart the entry there. Yay stranded on
Jingnya
an island.
nggak diliatin, Cok.
That leads all the way to the 2v3 retake and the wall as well. That Sage, I mean, it's been a little while since any of these players, I'm sure, have played against the Sage on Ascent. They gotta have to start accounting for that wall to come up.
100%. Recon Dart going to be broken for something. The jump up, he's very aware, but same could be said for Bleed as they were just jump spotting that little bit of contact. Everything else is a little bit straightforward here for Bleed as they do put a smoke on mid. Maybe just work their magic there, but Forsaken's just ready for it with a Recon Dart.
So, because they have no Killjoy,
Recon
PaperX are
aja.
always trying to find a way to leave mid open, right? Whether you're
Recon.
hidden far back with the Silva, whether it's pushing out of other parts of the map. And that's something that Bleed, I'm sure, is aware of. They would love to pressure mid a lot more, but with an op like that, it's not going to be easy. They have to start to push and pull on other parts of the map like they are right now. Wait for PaperX to falter just a bit.
Ooh, this is the perfect time if they actually want to push for mid now, because Tailwind's already been expended
Roshera
by
ganti-ganti mulu,
something,
anjir.
so
per second, Jo.
if they want to actually go
Wow,
that
timing
aggressive,
everything.
something also
Kelihatan ya?
has to put himself on the line for this one. But Forsaken, he's getting
Apaan
these
tuh?
really nasty kills on those dry peak contacts.
Ya
So
Allah.
the plan here
Timing.
from Bleed was to leave Ye as long as possible in that courtyard. Oh, but it's going to be something still on A side as well. So, I mean, no matter what the plan was, it's breaking apart for now. But the
30
idea was that
seconds
you leave him there. If you need him to lurk all the way into Pizza, you do that to go for a
Gokil.
fake. But if not, he goes for the pinch through short. I mean, it's a good option for Bleed. But he gets picked off because he's already down right by the stairs. He doesn't really have a way out. Forsaken catches sight of him. And now, Bleed, they already invested in the half armors this time. They decided to buy up again. And that is going to cost them only
10
maximum
seconds left.
250 credits on Darion, and that's it.
This is exactly what I was asking a while ago, like how, you know,
Saving
just
kah?
adept Forsaken is on his Sova for the moment. But it seems like right now the needs of PaperX for him to hold that mid as a Sova has been pretty good so far.
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely seen it, but he's usually favored the Fade, right? And usually it has been the Fade meta for him as well, especially last year. So the Fade, I mean, tried and tested even internationally. The Sova, that was my big question, but so far doing very well. And again, without things like the alarm bots to rely on. I mean, you have just the Sova and KO to really go for these timing on those info calls, and they're able to get everything they need. And I mean, with leaving mid open, right? Whether it's just closing the door, whether it's pushing out from another side, PaperX is maneuvering this map very well. This time it's another one-way here, but they're not peeking out of it. They know that at the end of the day, Bleed's the one who has to use their util first to fish for info.
They might be expecting just a full-on burst here from Bleed, but this
no
is
idea.
a trap that PaperX have completely set up onto that A site, and Bleed are being punished for it. There's only 2 remaining. That's going to be Scary and Retla. Left and right.
Santai dulu,
Fine.
Davai.
I know you want to go for it, but he will get picked off. As
Gua sih
Retla
bilang
just
santai dulu.
haphazardly spams through the smoke, and at least gives them a bit of a chance here. And wait, who uses the from the
Scary.
shadows? Scary on short. Finds big contact onto Forsaken here. 1 versus 1. Great little tag.
Ujung
Scary
doang,
out
oi.
in no man's land.
Oh, he gets tagged.
first. Something. Waiting. Choosing to use the short. But Scary converts. Forsaken finally gets the punish. And that's
Stress,
only going to
anjir.
be Retla. With the spike in hand, 2 right in front of him. Maybe he can at least dissect some of the players on that A side. Not going to happen. And PaperX still keep the ball rolling.
I mean, considering how far Bleed's been pushed, right? You're already
Barbar
4 rounds
banget,
down going
anjir,
into that
something.
previous
Gokil.
round. I don't blame Scary for that ult, right? I mean,
Digituin
yeah, you
orang.
can go for a cheeky spike pickup in another round, but you use it to try to create a curveball. That's all fine, but
Kalau
he
kagak
gets
ada
tagged right
Forsaken sih,
before smoke
aduh.
goes up, and he's not able to continue to pressure PaperX as much as he wants. And just these, different positions from PaperX each and every round here on A site. Bleed this time, they actually made the right call, right? They're not expending too much utility. They understand that PaperX are going to be split because they have to, because there's no other way to control mid for them. And they just go for the stack.
Yo, I love
A
this.
Siege Tiles crunch, but
Yeah.
is Retla ready for it? I mean, that's the problem. You do hear the wall coming up. He's ready for the double.
Yeah, we've seen that on a bunch of YouTube highlight clips for Sage mains.
Oh, for sure.
Doesn't work like this for PaperX. I was so excited for it too. But
Sayang banget nggak ada yang
It
di
did seem
situ
like
anjir.
there wasn't as much util timed, with the flashes and things like that. Obviously not a heavy investment
Satu
for
lagi.
PaperX, but Retla this time, a
Bilang
nice trade as
swing
well
langsung
for a
gitu
triple.
loh.
Only 5 HP remaining, but it's a 4v2 for Bleed.
no flashes for Davai here, so it's all about that contact. Dodges a lot of things actually. Now as he tries to time the peek
still
through
don't know.
the paranoia, we'll get the first one. That is spiked down. They know that Mind Freak is
Aduh,
on target,
jatuh.
but he kind of, I don't know what just happened to his
Sweet.
feet. He jumped down onto the stairs, ruined his recoil there, and that's going to be the first round picked up by Bleed.
Yeah, misses a step there from Mind Freak, and that will give that round. But overall, I mean, you get the early kills, and you just wait. You go for the re-clear. I like that from Retla as well. Make sure, do you want to go here or not? Because it's already 2 members down from mid. No matter which site you go to, you're going to have an opening. You just want to make sure you don't get caught off guard on the timing.
Yeah.
So a good call. Fairly simple, but very
Oh, shit,
straightforward
Bantu.
call from Bleed. And now the Odin ready for it from Forsaken. Bleed, they look like they're positioned to avoid it in the beginning, but he waits.
I mean, they can't push through this more than anything else. It's the wall
Oh!
from Jing also keeps them tracked down.
I can't use
They did wait a little bit before they start using that
boy.
lockdown. Will it get broken by Forsaken now that he has his ultimate, or are they just gonna maybe escape as he tries to delay them with a couple of shock darts?
Oh, he just wants to delay the second line of entry. He actually gets one off of the Odin damage earlier. It's going to be an early kill with the Hunter's Fury. Now something in mid. Cuts off Scary as well. No smokes for Bleed. The spike not in sight. Ye stranded on B.
It's going to be quite difficult. Ye could actually make something happen right now.
He has to.
Yeah, 3 players though coming
Ada
in
yang
from spawn,
expect
the
sih.
smoke right in front of their faces, and they're hoping that maybe this flash would actually give them a little bit of leeway as they try to push it onto the site. Now that they come in through, Cloudburst come in, and something with the headshot. Oh my goodness, the blades. He's not done just yet. Coming around the corner, has the operator
What
hand, and
the-
of course, you know what?
Something
He gets
gokil
kills left
banget.
and right. One with the blades, one with the
Nggak
Actually, two
jelas,
blades and one with the
something.
The math is bad, but something is great.
Caster math, right?
3
Yeah,
loh.
it's a risk. It's a risk. That's why we don't do it too often. But something, he'll go for those kills any day, and it does look like we'll be looking at a timeout. I mean, much needed. I'm not surprised that it didn't come earlier, because in the early parts, I mean, it's PRX just having a better hard read, right, on some of these rounds, and you know,
Tuh,
pistol and things like
gila
that. Of
gitu
course, it's
doang,
Bleed trying to get used to the Sage and a couple other parts about this PRX maneuver. So it wasn't a necessary timeout early on. You're waiting for your players to catch up to it. Surely you're hearing the comms as they're breaking down what PRX is doing. But now you start to see a bit of a further breakdown, right? A little bit of that rush, trying to just force the call that you had to go for that lockdown despite the Odin spam, despite people already being taken down low over on B main.
Yeah, 100%. Again, there's so many approaches that we've seen already from Bleed, and it should be working. But PRX are just so hyper aware of what the follow-up is, what the follow-up would be for Bleed there, right? And you actually mentioned it, that they might not just be that accustomed to the Sage just yet. And the things that I've seen from Jing that he has used for the most part, I don't think we've seen too many of the slow orbs. It's just primarily the walls, and it is kind of confusing Bleed on their approaches.
Well, a lot of it is also Bleed hasn't really been trying to push and pull, right? They got denied in mid a couple times early on, and they've given up on it. So I was wondering if this timeout would bring their focus back to mid, try to force the op out, try to pressure it, you know, force them to close the door early, break it open, things like that. But no, it's just going to be an ace stack. It's going to be a 1-4 default from Bleed. With the Blade Storms, going to be avoiding that 0 point.
Yeah. Problem is, if they try to push on A site with Ye
Itu dia
on
template
those
banget ya
blades,
cara
on the
main
he's got the null
di
command,
Asen
so
tuh.
that's a very easy counter for someone that's very fickle. If you just take away the, you know, the ultimate.
And you saw, I mean, Bleed using their own 0 point over on A main, so PRX, no reason to be pressured too much just yet. You see the early push out from the turret as well, so you know that you're trying to push in to gather some info on B main, but look at that, the Siege wall. They know that Bleed doesn't actually have complete information on B just yet. The wall finally getting broken.
Yeah, but this is perfect, though. They know that the Vi has actually used his blade on A main, so Ye, he's got free reign to go for this first contact. Question now is Duryoung going to be able to assist him? Or just, well, use the smoke and just come in through market. Knock, knock, who's there? Nobody's on B side for now.
Oh, the Odin trying to catch a target. Tavai's going to find one in mid through the smoke, though, so that's KO down for Bleed. A 4v5. Can you clear back house? Yes, you do. Ye gets one, Scary another, right through market. Now evening the numbers. The rest comes back up. 4 members still alive,
nice.
and a nice soft shot on the backup from something.
Yeah, that's perfect as well. That was through the bait of
udah.
Jing reviving
Menang
somebody
sih
as
ini mah.
well. 3 players on the back of the site.
Yeah.
Dart overshoots, but that shouldn't matter too much. As you can see, Forsaken's just putting out the suppressing fire. Something coming right in, but Redla's so prepared. This man has been dealing damage. Ye as well. Redla, it's the combination, and now it's just Forsaken alone. 3 versus 1. 20 HP. He's got the Odin. He might have to just back away, escape with his life, because this is a Bleed round.
Yeah, he's just going to look for a couple exits, it seems. Quite a few creds over on the side of PRX, but Ye says no, shuts it down. And what's his weapon of choice? We are going to see the op picked up by Zest and 2 rifles. Great upgrades from Bleed. And I love the delayed Hunter's Fury, right? He doesn't use it right after the no command, but he waits. If they get a kill, now that you've eliminated one angle, you cover that consistently with the Hunter's Fury. The other 2 members can now only focus on lane, and they're able to clean up the kills. I mean, Retla, he's been picking up more frags each week here for Bleed, and he's continuing to lead the pack quite a bit in this map of Ascent.
100%. You make more splash with throwing out the pebbles than one big rock. They did not actually save the operator. I was looking at Zest.
All right. Dropped it at the end.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that maybe Ye would, you know, get that, but he's the point man.
Yeah, I mean, if you do pick it up, you're always going to have to kind of go for that trade right afterwards, right before the entry. So now that they've done the fake A over to B or over to mid, they'll put the early pressure back on mid. I mean, this is by far the weakest part of the map for PRX. It has to be an overinvestment for PRX. Ye a little bit outwards, and Devi, what a jiggle, leads into the wide swing.
Fire, anjir.
And that's not only the jet down, but mid completely given over to PaperX's control. And I fear that Bleed, they're going to be scratching their heads thinking, do we just have to go A again? I mean, we're already stuck here.
I mean, Smart Money's probably just going to be re-encompass on that A short, you know, kind of compress yourselves. They are going to try to do that. They're leaving Scary by himself on A main to be the pinch play here. And then, of course, just one more player on B main so that they don't get, you know, just kind of flanked around. The contact's going to be good. Divide, he's been the pillar for PaperX. 1 versus 1. And Divide wins the battle. That's not going to be too good, especially with the spike down on A short. Has 2 remaining players to Bleed. Does Scary have his TP? Pick it up, the spike, maybe. Nope. Zest going to have to go for that battle on mid. There's too many of them, but he's done. Jing. And can he go for another one? Absolutely not. One more. Scary. A main. Mind Freak spotted. 1 versus 1 for the meantime. 2 players to PaperX coming around the corner. Maybe flank on top mid. 13 seconds. Whatever happens here, Scary does not have enough time.
Yeah, and they heard the orb as well. They know exactly where he's at. It's a setup for Divide as he goes for that 4K on round 9. A big win. I mean, Divide starts it and then he finishes it. Gets the pick off on Ye in mid. That does make Bleed's game plan crumble entirely. I don't mind them swiveling back towards A short. It's just PaperX. Yeah. They understand, okay, if you were stuck on A main, the only other part that we haven't really quite taken control of, because we put up the wall on B main, is going to be A short near tree. So they go for that clear. It's a double, and they win out the trades.
And I love that too from PaperX, because thinking about it, there's only 2 spots in A short that you would earn. There's 1 spot in A short that you would want.
Enteng banget,
underneath that like arch that you're seeing right now in front of the buy. If you're anything right behind that,
ayolah.
you're kind of just aware that you could be pushed from arch on mid. So the rush for Bleed was definitely there to just kind of push in before they, you know, maybe get flanked by PaperX.
Well, coming into this round, that's an early pickoff from Darion, ready for that wall up. And they sent the drone into mid, so they know that this should be weaker on A, but it's a judge!
What the heck?
A quick triple for something.
Oh, nice. Something.
And Forsaken pushes out on the perfect timing.
Nice.
Jumps around the wall as well.
Ngumpul lah sih pada.
I mean, Bleed made the right call here. You know, they get a pick off on B main.
Emang kalau main kompe juga kayak depan temen udah mati nih. Di judge kalau nggak dibaki kayak ngepick bareng-bareng. Tapi tetap aja pasti mati aja orang kedua atau ketiga.
Holy. I don't think I've ever heard something.
Stress aja something.
I don't know. Is that happy? Is that a happy laugh? Is that an evil laugh?
Maniacal.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a cackle, in my opinion.
It's a Joker's laugh.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
There you go.
Well, that's the second timeout used by Bleed. And I have to imagine this is more about course correcting the things that are starting to go really poorly, right? What I've noticed from Bleed's timeouts is it's not even necessarily does this timeout give us the best chance to win ultimately, but it's a matter of, well, the course we're going now does not lead to a win, right? That seems to be the pattern so far. And I'm not surprised, right? Is mentioning that they have very basic things they need to continue to work on, that they need to really build a better foundation. So if this course corrects them, make it an 8-4, you know, it's on ascent, it's not so bad. You go back to defense, you have your designated roles and positions.
I mean, at a certain point, I think just Bleed just has that level of hesitation after they get, like, one guy gets picked off, right? You see that push on A main that happens on something. Did they throw any utility just to clear out A main just in case that someone was there? Looks like not, right? So, like, you're absolutely right. There's these kind of fundamental things that maybe shaking Bleed to their core just because, you know, there is that pressure. PaperX, you know, the first MYSU representative, Bleed, second one.
Yeah, the thing is, about that judge, I mean, well, hold on. Well, let's wait for this contact to pass. But I don't know if I can really blame Bleed. I mean, you can say in hindsight, you know, they should have used util and whatnot. But until now, saving util has been what's been gaining them ground. And PaperX had all the credits. They didn't need to buy a judge. They just did it because they thought they had a read, and now they have another read as they continue to push out. Left, right, and middle. Bleed completely trapped in the middle of the map. It's going to be a quick lead of PaperX.
Yeah, again, that mental strain of just trying to get out of the open. That is that mid position that we get to right now. And there's one more round left for Bleed here. How's the econ looking for challengers? It's like it is maybe just running into those half buys. But yeah, all these contacts, man, it's just not
Harusnya
going the way of Bleed.
bantuin lah, nge-pick lagi lah.
PRX just have their number right now. They understand that with the type of pressure that Bleed's dealing with, it's become a flowchart to PRX.
Yeah.
And now they'll just go with the Odin, spamming that out again. The KO just there for early backup in case it's a rush, but now that it's not, it's a quick peek out from something. He catches sight of multiple, so now they know, okay, mid's the danger zone, and Devi will be tasked with holding on to it. He's going to wait. He's going to try to buy time with an early pop flash. He goes out with it. That's one kill. Something not quite arriving in time just yet before the smoke goes down.
Ooh, right underneath, look at Forsaken. He's dropped the Odin for the judge, and he's waiting at these kind of just cut off visual angles.
What
It doesn't need it. Something just jumps up, and their heads are popping little by little. It's whack-a-mole with the blades, as something now being pushed. Could have actually gotten Durian there, but not going to happen as Durian pops off with the Guardian. Now pushing in onto the B main. Mindfree coming in from the back with the flank on lower mid, as three players of PRX are separated.
The smoke is so good because now it forces them to have to check all the way around it, and it gives Forsaken so much more time. They have no idea that it's a judge at the back site. The spike goes down. He's not able to connect to a second just yet. Still 30 seconds on the clock, but now everyone's arrived from PRX. It's a 2v2. Slow orb. And then the paranoia, they are trapped. The spike goes out. Scary gets a heroic pick. That's one from Jing, and he's not able to connect to Redlock. Bleed will stabilize with a 3-9 scoreline.
Great push from Bleed on mid, even though they saw that something was there.
Lumayan lah, 93. Kers kah manis, 93.
How much damage he can do with the blades, but it's not going to happen when he gets pushed by every remaining player of Bleed, plus the flash from Durian.
Yeah, I mean, something thinking that he had a bit more time to play with his food there with the Blade Storm, but it's Durian just pushing back, had enough of it, goes with the flash. Now, this is the last time that Legia will have a chance to talk to his team, unless PRX choose to call a timeout, which I imagine won't be coming unless, they suddenly lose the lead or something like that.
Yeah. Ooh. What a first half start on this match. One of the things that I also, was kind of researching with this particular series is how far back does Durian and Scary have kind of faced PRX individually from their previous teams. Durian has done it with the former iteration of the Bleed, like for a few years now. Every single time, right, where tournaments that lead up to, let's say, a Masters or a Champions, it's always been PRX that eliminated them. And then for Scary, it was when he was in X10.
X10, yeah, back in the day, yep,
before
Xerxia.
Kalau lihat
before
Davai pakai Phantom tuh kayak
another Masters.
enteng banget gitu. Nembak kayak gampang. Pas nyoba pakai Phantom, anjir lah, bete banget.
Oh, absolutely.
Dari jauh ngeding doang aja, dari deket enak banget tuh kalau agak-agak nge-spray mah, ngebers mah.
Before we got into Pacific. So it's no surprise that they would want to try to prove themselves here on the big stage. Of course, being that very first inaugural Ascension member of VCT Pacific, now Bleed on defense. And they should be a bit more comfortable, especially with the Killjoy. They've got the Alarm Bot. They should have better control of mid. For now, they're just checking. Is it going to be a mid push-in from PRX? Immediately, it's going to be a triple stack. Quick rotation possibly coming in from Durian as well.
Utility as well. Scary's got no more smokes, only has a paranoia in hand, and there it is. The hive mind mentality of PRX marching all the way through A short. You can hear the Thunder's footsteps on short here. The wall, give it a bit of leeway. Devi gets to pick first. There is that cautionary paranoia from Scary, but rocking a hard place. He's got to have some assistance right now. He is alone. Does have somebody Redla on heaven, but that's not going to be enough as PRX wipe out. They take the second pistol.
Oh, so Zest actually had a really good decision
to
just try to chase him in mid as fast as possible. And you saw both on his screen and on the minimap that he was trying to stutter step so that he doesn't make a sound, but is able to get that mini speed boost every now and then. But he just starts to run it, and he thinks that enough footsteps are being made by PRX that he can also mask his own.
Yeah.
But they hear it right away. I believe that was Devi turning right back around, picks off that kill. And that shuts off the pinch from Bleed. Now, I mean, yeah, you're down low, but it's just a Marshall. You're on the defense. The 4 spies aren't going to look good.
There it is again. Paranoia from Scary, but I mean, he doesn't have anyone to feed off of it. So even if he can get that quick contact, it's just a classic in his hands. Speaking of classics, Durian also bringing in his own. Unfortunately, PRX they attacked together, so there was just too many refraggers just in case Darion got one.
Yeah, then you've got that wall next to the door as well with just the pistols. It's not looking good for Bleed here. And with a Marshall, it's not exactly the best weapon to try to go on a retake, but if they peek out for you, Ye will take the kills.
Why not? He's about to peek onto this one, out in the open, but there's a bajillion players of PRX. One more, Zest. Retla has finally got onto short, but that door's closed up, and he's going to take a long time for him to break through that, just in case. Anything else is probably just going to be exit frags if they can, but can they? Oh, okay.
Ya Allah, nggak jelas sumpah.
This is why he's the king of Ascent, even with the Ghost.
Last player standing.
I mean, that's 2 extra ult orbs that Bleed had no business getting, quite frankly, right? I mean, they were ready to decide to spike. PRX did not need to challenge that. I mean, you're so far ahead, you do not need to snowball your ultimates. So in the grand scheme of things, I know PRX likes to play with a little bit of fun on stage, but in the grand scheme of things, very unnecessary deaths here for a couple members on PRX.
How is Zest this good with the Ghost? Like, I'm just in awe of how clean, you know, his aim is.
He's just one of those, you know, calm, collected, you know, type aimers, right?
Yeah, wish I was kind of like that. You get pushed by that and you're like, yeah, no, I'm not in a good spot. Okay, Odin in Zest's hands this time. There is that quick push now that they hear him back down, but look at this trap set up by Retla. Does pick up the first kill, excuse me, as the wall or switch closes down the door. They do know that Zest is alone. I love that Jing is right on top of his wall. Could see where Zest could come out. Zest holding on for as much as he can, for as long as he can, and he only picks up the one. 2 versus 2 right now. Big flags coming in, but Jing comes into the site, saves himself from backstab, and they're coming around. Yay.
Ye's fast.
Ooh, B-main, are they aware? He sees him. Right in front is going to be Mind Freak. And Ye has challenged one of his own, because Scary has to go the other way, the pinch to the left and right. As PRX is just buying so much time at this point.
So Ye just wants to make sure that he doesn't give up control of that smoke area. They don't want them creeping back in for a pinch. Now the paranoia, that's the signal for Ye to go for the peek. He gets one. Does he find Jing? Scary will find it. It's a good, patient 2v2 retake from Bleed. They will not let that point happen just yet.
Yeah, gotta love that pinch that we saw from them. I don't think we saw the other player of PRX get hit by the paranoia, but that was enough for both of them to just go in for that sandwich. What a trap as well.
Yeah, this was a Bleed. Yeah, that was a nice try. I mean, if Retla had connected even onto something, it would have just completely shut down the round for sure.
Yeah.
Eventually, they had to rely on the retake, but it was a good way to delay, make sure the backup arrives. Now, the default continuing the same way. Alarm bot in mid. Still going to be 2 members over on B. The Killjoy util to help delay. Still got that Odin in hand for Zest. They saved that over.
That's the break of economy 2 for PRX here. Okay, there it is. One-way smoke. Something still charges through that. No one on A main for the quick little contact. Scary, hyper aware. And I love how just forward his positioning is. He really wants to get that fight, knows that he can win that challenge and take that, you know, EDB advantage, excuse me, for Bleed here to get things started with.
So Bleed, during all of that, right, they hear the orb being taken. They sent the drone out B main as well. So they know that it wasn't just the 3 members. They know that pretty much the entire team was on A main. So Ye was trying to make sure that he's peeking out towards top mid. But now that the smoke resides, now that they don't hear any more info, he doesn't want to give up that rifle. He doesn't have backup there for trade. So he backs off, and they just say, we just have to reset. Just buy time whichever site they come towards. The timing from Zest, and he will nail the shot. Now the last remaining position, it's going to be the alarm button. So look at that KO on the minimap. He's already ready as well. Darion there to watch the flank. He'll find a nice snap. And meanwhile, Ye got one in short. Will not connect onto the last member, but Mind Freak all alone, but a Vandal picked up.
Got stuff.
Ngeding doang.
Through the wall. Okay.
Oh iya.
Gets a dink onto Retla. I thought it was going to be a secondary pick for Mind Freak there, but yeah, in
Terlalu
any
ke
case,
atas,
this
anjir.
is what Bleed wants,
Pikannya.
right? You get that safety from Retla's utility. You have the threatening from Zest with wherever he's at with the Odin, and you can kind of somehow funnel PRX to where you want them to fight you.
I mean, this is just classic defense default from Bleed, of course, especially against a weaker buy on the opponents. Very good setup. And PRX, I mean, they do not have the best composition to try to battle this, right? I mean, the lurking is not going to be as efficient on a Sage. You're usually going to have that Omen on for it. Oh, but this B side is being pressured pretty fast. Ye's already been spotted. The op and Odin now stuck in backside. Backup is here. I love the spams coming in. They have to make sure that they find a timing to go through the smoke. It's actually something pushing out. Darion there for the trade.
Oh, those back players on B did not stand a chance at all. Darion gets slowed in. If he just pushed right at that nick of time, could have maybe spotted Forsaken, bringing back Divide to life. Mindfree coming in for the big flank, and Darion is alone.
Tembak pundak anjir.
Dunzo. That's going to be PRX, 12 to
Darion.
5. And Bleed.
Langsung aja percepat Bain.
Heavy contact on that B site.
Gila berani-beraninya kalau nge-ban Bain. Gokil Bleed.
You know, this was a good timing to do it in terms of round score as well. You still have a hefty lead. You just want to change up the pace a little bit, but also understanding that, oh, if Bleed is going to just play standard default, right? 2-1-2, 1-1-3, something like that. If we just charge in, we will have the numbers advantage no matter what. And quite frankly, that's one of the best ways to play against Bleed, because they will most likely, almost every round, stay in the default until they get the opponents all the way up to the entrance. They wait really long before they start to go for those rotations because they're not quite sure. They won't really push out for a lot of information. Ye's doing his best in mid, but that's about as far as they go.
Still's got the blade. He really wants to go for that pick.
It's a nice try.
Plays.
It's a nice try. I mean, you think you'll have a timing right as the drone spots you. That's unfortunate. Does get some damage down as well, but it will be healed right back up.
Timing sih.
Well, same thing could be happening through B main here. Zest gets that first little contact. Retla spotted out. Oh, he's full blinded. Cannot escape the clutches of Divide. Scary alone. 1 versus 4. 1 versus 5 at this point as the res comes in onto Mindfreak. And now, can Scary bring it back? We've seen it done. We've seen him do this before. 40 seconds. It's not the end of the world. There's a couple of chances for him, but he's got to do it now.
Blade Storm popped as well. Something now looking to go on the hunt alongside his teammates.
Searching for him too.
Yeah, they're trying to just figure out where's the last remaining member. Scary will find one against Divide. Still 4 more though. Door closed. Knows it's a double. Scary lands one. Ah, but the pinch around comes from Mindfreak, and that is going to be it. 13-5. Bit of a landslide victory here for PRX against Bleed on their map pick of Ascent.
Absolutely dominating performance right now
Dibantai
for
aja di map pick sendiri.
And we were kind of curious how the composition was gonna, you know, kind of play out, especially
Di map pick
with
sendiri,
that
cuy.
Jing pick.
Ini kenapa
on the
Asen ya?
stage, but somehow just
Kayak
manages to work.
anjir,
You know,
apa nggak
you got
bosan
a lot of
Asen
guys to
mulu
work
cuy.
with.
Udah gitu nggak bainnya nggak di-ban lagi, nggak di-ban, nggak di-ban lagi.
Yeah, I mean overall didn't have to show too
Kacau
much of their
tuh,
hand
sumpah.
either, but we'll let the
Pemberani
analysts
aja.
break down a bit further
Bleed.
how this map 1 went before we dive into map 2.
I think our casters are absolutely right. It doesn't look like PRX broke a sweat indeed. I mean, maybe there were some rounds that were a little bit dangerous, but I would say like PRX, they looked very, very comfortable, and even I would say a little bit playful.
Yeah, there was that round with the judge, and something had like a cackle. Like, I don't know how he did it.
Again, what was that? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
He did like.
I think it was a few octaves, like
way
it's
off
like
there.
the sound of a dinosaur.
Velociraptor.
Yeah, Velociraptor. Believe me about this.
It was rough for Bleed. I think they started off pretty slow, and PRX are coming back with a vengeance after they lost last week, and they're like, okay, we're PRX. We don't get affected by anything. We're just gonna W gaming, and even on defense, they just kind of crushed them. Zest wasn't really able to get anything going. He had like the 1 kill through the wall when they had a couple of rounds on defense eventually. It was pretty one-sided. I think that I was expecting a bit more from Bleed and perhaps a bit less from PRX, but now I feel like it's the exact opposite, where Bleed aren't really looking like they've shown today what they've shown even in their win against CFM or some of their good moments, and PRX look like they're back.
Yeah, I mean so much. So this, it's my heart goes out to Bleed. You know, it's just to start things off. They're working against so much. It's not only just mental pressure. It's like one of their last few chances of making it through playoffs, and it's against such a big team. You know, such a deep map pool, and Ascent was their kind of best bet. Once they start things off with that missile run, and Mindfreak gets the clutch, things just start to crumble a little because PRX starts to dictate the
TDM-an dulu kali kita, nyantai. Ya kan? Santai-santai dulu sebelum mulai gitu. Recon Phantom cuy, aduh duitnya. Recon Spectre lagi. Recon Phantom aja kurang cowok.
Match found.
Going fishing, right? And it's exactly that. He was waiting, he was so patient, but you're absolutely
They
right.
have no
I feel
idea
like
how
here,
heartless I am.
Team Secret, I feel like figured out, PaperX. It has to be the W Gaming but Bleed here, like once they got a taste of that, they were a bit too hesitant, they were a bit too careful. Perhaps maybe they were overthinking the attack as well, right? They put them into the weapons.
Yeah, a little bit. But there was that one round, though. I believe it was like round 4 or 5 or so. Right after Coach Lagia calls the timeout, suddenly everything clicked. That was when they decided to go in that aggression, that same pace against PaperX. Ye just dashed all the way towards the back side, cleared it with his knives. They got a thrifty off of that. We need to see more rounds like that where Bleach just goes, unhinged. They feel the aggression, feel the opportunities. You can start to see that they're starting to flow. And Ye is back in that sort of like duelist form. As this Jet, he's able to take a lot of these duels. There were some insane frags. The team was right behind him. If they can keep that pace up for the next map, there is a potential. But otherwise, yeah, it's PaperX dominating today.
Yeah, we just saw Ascent, which was Bleed's map pick, and now we're going to be heading over to Bind for map 2, which does worry me. Bleed, as you mentioned, Bind, they do have to get aggressive. You have to match the fire with the fire. I think that is the way to potentially take down PaperX, but we just saw so many times that PaperX was looking for game today. This is going to be occasions, but remember the fault when they lose 13.
Hawk out!
Drop in a smoke. Enough.
Ya Allah, FPS drop. Benar tapi anjir FPS drop cuy.
Get inside.
Ya Allah.
Time to hunt. Scout destroyed.
Hawk out.
Die.
Take it out. Just grounded.
Oke, crosshair something.
New stage in 10. Hawk out.
Stage done.
Shee.
Defeated. No more.
Shoot. Cutting their vision.
Hehehe.
Right here. Bye. Hawk out. That's 3. Headshot. 1 down. Target down.
Ya Allah, di kiri situ lagi. Oh, udah mulai belum? Oh, belum.
Stage 3.
Oh.
Still in sight.
It's you and me.
Ya Allah.
Charge your lights. Joke's over. You're dead.
Anak apa cuy?
That's a kill.
10 seconds until stage change.
Hawk out.
Not ready yet.
Final stage.
Get out of my way!
Oh, udah mulai belum sih?
Cutting their vision.
Hawk out!
Ya Allah. Kita lagi mulai, sabar.
Charge your lights.
My ult's ready. Here goes the party.
Parasite.
They will KAWAN.
See nothing. Shot down.
It's you and me. Raiders.
Pew pew. My ult is ready.
Back like I never left!
Wih, udah mulai guys.
Hawk out!
Udah.
15.
Yeah, I'm wondering about that as well, because while Zest has played this guy on other maps, generally back at PRX, whenever they would play the bind, he's usually still playing the hard info, right? Things like the fade, and it's the stacks. It's stacks that usually plays this guy. So curious to see what the idea here is. Maybe just trying to set up Ye a little bit more with a just pure double team alongside Zest, but it's going to be an easy entry here. Right through
Nah,
that
sekarang
high
jadi
tide. They
ambil
will
di
get
Falcon
B-side
ya.
for free. Wingman planting. It's 5 members ready to fight. They want to push back out. They want to make sure that they cannot come through. Oh, but the flash, a bit of a team flash there. Again, scary.
Yeah, a bit of a bad nade too from Ye, as you saw. Kind of separated the players of Bleed there as they were trying to push out onto B main, so that's rather unfortunate. Forsaken 2 more seconds before he has his high tide. Is that going to be able to cut the site in half, let his teammates come in? Absolutely yes. You can already see the players of Bleed coming around the corner. It's all about the fights right now. And the defuse coming in from the Wingman. It's not stopping, and the Wingman is an absolute MVP.
Kagak
As
di
PaperX comes
gas
into
aja.
assist. Sure, Myfree gets a 3K, but you know what? It's a that gets the defuse perfectly.
Wingman's always there for at least one of the teams, it seems. Of course, getting the plant and the defuse that time in that pistol. And yeah, I mean, the miss util a little bit, that hurts, right? Because without that, the idea was sound. Over from Bleed, go in, push back out of main, make sure you take control and kind of force them out entirely of the site. But then they had to be corralled all the way back into Oboe. Not much of a chance there. And now the Outlaw comes out for Jing. He's been picking it up a little bit more. as they continue to play here in stage 1.
I think it's him and Forsaken that has the most outlaw kills in PaperX's team.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I thought it would be something, honestly, but...
He waits for the op. He doesn't deal with just the outlaw.
Yeah, he wants the good stuff, you know?
Yeah, he lets his teammates, oh, you guys can play with the outlaw.
Oh.
I play with the big guns. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Jing.
He getting a pick on short there. That's an opening that Bleed might not want to pass up on. They are already trying to push here on the contact, but Mind Freak is too fast, and he finds the spike as well.
The timing with the Trailblazer makes sure that he cannot be traded. One of them has to look back to see if there's going to be a follow-up through that teleporter. And that's a great setup from PaperX. It's simple, but it's effective. Now spike down. Device protecting it. Long range. Gets the Sheriff at the ready.
Spots too.
Yeah, now he's ready for the push in. Sticks with the Spectre. Great smoke to cut them off.
There's just a ton of them. They really can't go through this. There's just layers upon layers. And Scary sure he's going to be able to get the first pick onto Devi. Not able to upgrade his weapon at all, as he will just back away with the classic, maybe try to attack elsewhere on an angle, but something is already on short, preparing, waiting, and striking to finish off for the second round.
It's just the small little things. I mean, Bleed, they were a double team in showers. It was honestly not a bad setup, even on an eco. But right as that TP door opens, Zest has to look behind, rather. Mind Freak swings on it. He's able to get an easy double.
It's just so difficult to push through. Double controller, man. Yeah. All right. Anyways, buy round for Bleed. We'll cut that off as a loss because there really was very little chance, especially even though he got that first pick with the Sheriff.
Yeah, and this time they're pushing out all together. A double push. Retla's ready for it. He suspects a third as well. He wouldn't be wrong, but he will have to get taken out as he goes for that drop. Aim not stabilized. Now the TP out. PaperX is fast on this, and that actually pressures Bleed to try to move a little bit quicker as well, potentially into a trap, and they just say, you know what? There was one already on B. That's a TP over to B. That's 2 members trying to pick the weaker side of A.
Jing has a nade. If he can time this perfectly, he might be able to kind of cut off that rotation as they come into the site. You can already see that was he was trying to do, but Bleed still come in. Paint shell's a little bit too short, and that's going to be perfect. That does allow them to plant the spike onto triple. All these smokes, just, again, confusing the vision of PaperX, leaving it all onto Jing. 3-4 versus 1. That's going to be a quick little trade, and Bleed, great efforts at the start there for Retla.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a true Sentinel, but you still got that Viper. You have the Toxic Screen. He's ready for it. The rest of the members already all focus on to the B site. You know that you should have the better weaponry. Granted, again, PaperX a pretty strong bonus in their own right. And then I love the call to just TP over, right? Even if there's still somehow a fast rotate, it's 2 members, you're still going as 4. It's a 4v2. You know you should be relatively safe to charge on through.
Yeah, 100%. Something picks up the operator right now.
Langsung
Gonna look
OP
at
aja
straight
di
contact
samping
onto
nih.
B long. Nobody from
Goks.
Bleed gonna be challenging him on that one. But the wall from Forsaken might actually push someone in just in case. That being said, though, it's a 2-pronged approach. Thrash comes into the corner as well as the dog. Device got to help out something here, or he is going to be done for this world. Ye comes in for the shots. Unfortunately, does not commit. He could have gotten something on that one. He will be able to escape and get healed by his teammate as well.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Tries to finish it off with the patience, but at the end of the day, it's going to be Littleborough going for that plant. The post plant's not bad. You've got a couple members inside. You still have hookah control. You still have garden control as well. That's a great dizzy through the window. Forsaken gets an easy pick off of it.
That's so good. It actually spotted out Ye here. But where Bleed is coming from is around the corner, ring around the rosy.
Something should happen too.
3 versus 2. Defuse coming in. Durian trying to delay as much as he possibly can. High Tide blocks a lot of vision, but Bleed somehow figures it out. That's going to be Retla on the great little contact, and Devi might have to back away as he's 23 and holding on to the operator.
Yeah, you've got to save this operator. It's an early buy up. If you're going to continue to use it, you have to save it up. It's going to be another round win from Bleed, and it really MVP for me, Retla on that one. The positioning on hookah, he waits, he hides himself for the entire time. And when the first cove comes out, it's up to Darian to break it, and that's when Retla props up on the box. He has vision of everybody in sight. And quick reactions here. from Scary and
Masih
Cess as
dapat.
well, right? They push back out with Derry on second thrash.
Oh itu kalau
And then they're able to go
smoke-nya
for
masih
pop
agak
flash,
lama
for pop
aja,
flash. Scary still
Jingnya
to swing
bisa
out
naik.
the trades.
Yeah.
Bleed
Dapat
looking
sih
a
itu.
lot more proactive here on this bind.
Yeah, absolutely. They're able to just kind of have these secondary protocols, you know, just kind of follow up on things, which is not what we saw on Ascent. They usually kind of just back away. This time it's completely different. Very aggressive as well from Bleed here, as you see, throwing out the Dizzy as well as the Stim Pack or Stim Beacon.
So something that Bleed, I wonder if they'll ever catch on to this, right? You don't hear the orb being taken behind that high tide on B. And that should start to signify to you that it's not multiple members on B, right? Whenever they have multiple, they've tried to prioritize sticking for that, or at least faking it out. But of course, this time out on Eco, so now they will say, okay, orb's still not taken. They've backed off the site. Still putting pressure over on A with that toxic screen.
Device on an op, and he does not disappoint.
Davai anjir.
He's got some history with that. I believe he played Chamber at one point.
Yeah, he used to be the go-to chamber on this team. And with that kill, you know that you've stopped the advance. It's a push out from PRX.
Oh, Zest. Oof, that's a couple of body shots.
Yeah, big
Something
hits.
comes out as well for the secondary follow-up. Does get the first pick.
You know that it's gone through the TP. Retla hears it as well. He's ready for the pinch, but he's waiting for his teammates. They push them out with the orbital strike. Trailblazer pushes him in. Retla's trapped right now, trying to buy time with the snake bite. He knows he has to push through. Ye's opening up space on the other side. The entry successful, but shower control given over to PRX.
Yeah, this is very confusing for both teams. Smoke's just kind of annoying everybody who wants to get that quick little line of sight. Unfortunately, not going to happen. Right behind the triple, so Devi can't get that shot off. He tries to do it so, but can't really get the wall bang, and Ye comes in for the big little flank. 1 versus 1. Spike has already been planted. Actually, it's in favor of Ye. He also has the nades, so Devi, everything against him. Both of them fighting. Devi, Nate has to separate himself from the explosions. Another try, another peek, and gets the first one. He's aware. He also saw that he was off of it.
Yep.
Another one.
Yeah,
Third time's the charm.
He knows that Devi has to let go of that spike early because he's on an op. So he's just
Wah, beuh.
Devi! I thought Ye had that.
Ngapain
100%.
anjir?
He 4 times
Yay.
he peeked Devi, and he saw him off of the spike. And the one time he actually goes for the wide swing challenge is when Devi gets the hit.
Jeez. So, what Ye was doing very correctly was that he knows that Devi has to let go of the spike early, right? He can't wait for a reaction shot because the op's going to take longer to bring the scope back up.
Buset. Kencang banget tuh scope-nya.
So he's constantly just jiggle peeking without actually catching sight. But even Mindfreak can't believe it, right? I mean, at that point, Ye goes for the decision judgment call that now Devi's going to be pressured to run back towards Spike. And now it's just a peek out for something. That's straight bait. Oh,
masih
okay,
dapat
the
tuh.
turnaround at the very least. We'll get the trade,
Wow.
and Retla has always got bleeds back.
Push on Belong is going to be a little bit delayed, even though Devi does get hit by the
Boleh-boleh
Trailblazer.
Retla sih
Goes
ini.
in for the peek, wants to go for the fight here against Zest, but
Buset, mau
speaking of
dimajuin loh,
Zest, he's
Davai
gonna
loh.
just double up with the rest of his team, using that
hears
Stim
everything.
Beacon to just run straight into A short, where I think it's a perfect read. No one's here for the moment.
Yeah, but Devi cleared all of it, right? And he heard the audio as well. You've got Mindfreak with the orbital strike. He just has to watch for the flank. Once they hear that plant coming, this orbital strike's going to go down, and that buys all the time. Okay, it's just the pit as well. Perfect timing. Devi now ready for the flank.
It's going to be coming around.
Here's him. Spike down. It's outside of the pit.
Oh, no.
And the timing for Mindfreak to pinch back into it. PRX, they move
Dah,
as
dah,
one.
dah. Cepat dah.
It's scary how that is just how PRX moves. Bleed, though, I do like the answer, the clapback, right? To just go straight into the showstopper, knowing that something doesn't really have that mobility. Thankfully enough, you know, Ye gets that, 180 turnaround shot, so they can get started with these trades. Fortunately, just comes up a tad bit short.
And now they'll have to go for the save. 5 Sheriffs, only a couple half armors on the side of Bleed. They'll slow things down, just try to work around the toxic screen. They haven't really utilized it too much in an aggressive sense. It's actually worked wonders in kind of helping out the lurk against PaperX as they try to push out against it, but they haven't really dug deep into anything like lamps in a couple of these rounds. So see if they can start to apply that pressure here on an eco round.
That's interesting too, right? Because they got the double initiator as well. You'd think that maybe after a flash or two, Ye can just rummage into the site. Unfortunately not.
Huge pick from Zest though, from long range, all the way back site. That draws out the high tide, so you know the harbor still around the A side. That's going to be the biggest difference maker between a harbor and a Viper. Obviously, you know where that high tide's starting from. So you know you've drawn a little bit of that extra util. You're drawing out a second smoke out from the brim as well. So both of them somewhere nearby. Now you're going for the numbers play. Still all 5 members alive from Bleed. Now the toxic screen. I don't mind this in terms of the round, but the reckoning is good.
30 seconds left.
Forsaken has gone down. Mind Freak on top like a sentry, only going to be able to be at least with the 1 pick.
He's close. Not sure if Devi reads this.
Last player standing.
He will not.
Yeah, didn't have a clue. Op has to be saved. The econ isn't exactly rich on the side of PaperX. They'll be okay, but the op they'll definitely have to save over if they want to use it.
Yeah. This is a thrifty round for Bleed. If they wanted to, they can maybe even send 1 person in to just, you know, see where something is, get a chance to take the op away from his hands, but
yeah, wouldn't have been the worst call, right? Anyone that isn't in range to pick up a rifle, you know, someone like Zest only 2 points away, you could have done that, but it looks like they just want to kind of focus more on their own econ build-up. You know, as they're exiting, they will see if they find him. It's going to be a double team all the way back into defender spawn. Oh, okay. The last-minute jump. Something's ready for it.
Yeah.
Yay, kasihan banget dah.
What a great start here for Bleed, and this is something I kind of noticed as well with the start of basically the spine map, that Jing has, died 2-3 times on these trip rounds for Bleed with these sheriff plays. So that's been something that at least Bleed has obviously used to their advantage, and you know, that lack of firepower right now, not just, you know, Jing's ability to just frag out, but also the threat of the nades, kind of just not having that is making Bleed more courageous, just going for these aggressive pushes.
Bleed's ready for this. They were already spread out apart, but they'll even use a Guiding Light. So Guiding Light traded for the Showstopper, not the end of the world. Now, how does Bleed retake that control is the big question. PaperX not going to stick around, though. They've made that mistake before in the past, right? Where they say, okay, we send the Showstopper, we just chase through it all the way to the very end of the round, and it doesn't work out very well. So the re-clear from Showers. For now, the movement, much more fluid on the side of PaperX. They're still holding on to crucial parts of the map.
Redla could be in for a rude awakening here, as there's 2 players, Forsaken and Jing, flanking around. Something threatens with the op. And Redla, he's so convinced that A short is for himself. He's not about to know about this.
He has no idea. I mean, he thinks he cleared Showers. He has no idea. You've been taken over. A side now entirely in control of PaperX. Bleed's trapped.
Device got the judge as well. Do they have a flash to at least get contact on Hookah, or are they just going to go for the blind peeks? Well, they go for that one, but as you can see, Mind Freak, he's got his boys back. The 3K for Mind Freak. PaperX, they answer right back.
The peek out around the Dizzy, a little bit delayed there on the side of Bleed. Gives something just enough time to reposition after dodging the blind. He's even positioned wide. I don't think EA was ready for that wide of an angle. But afterwards, I mean, they had to use the early flash as well to clear out the Showstopper, things like that. Not enough util, and that should be the timeout from Bleed.
Renyah, renyah, Main Freak.
This map in particular. Kind of expecting that maybe they got that round together, but fortunately, again, they just can't figure out how to mitigate that first contact against something in his operator, right? They see him, he always gets that first pick, and then they just kind of back away. It's been happening so many times right now on Bind that they just can't, again, it's just hard to figure out.
And it's so tough on Bind because it's not as clear cut as other maps where you can just say, well, we found the operator, let's avoid it. Because at the end of the day, Bind doesn't have a mid, so you have to control the extremities to make sure that you're able to apply pressure. And if the op is sitting on either B main or Showers, you got to find a way to push it way back, way into the site, just away from the entry points. Bleed. We'll see if that's something they discussed in this timeout, as right now it's still going to be a 2-3 split, but it does look like we might see a guiding light into Showers, but no raise to follow up, just a little bit of extra pressure.
Yeah, they're probably aware now that, you know, B long has been the domain of something for the longest time. Quick little flash out from TP there outside of Showers, so that does give quick information for PaperX here. You can see that Bleed are chasing the kill through that pickup of the orb. Not going to happen this time, but at least forces notified. Not get contacted, but you know, just a bit of information on both sides.
Yeah, but that's both guiding lights used by Divide. Now they have to hold on to these areas, especially by something, right? Because you heard 2 Vandals on the side of Showers, so something knows that he's relatively safe. Bleed should have heard the Trailblazer going through TP as well, so they know that there's still 2 members.
Saw him.
Yeah, catch a sight of Ye, knows that it's a back out, but something doesn't want to chase through.
Yeah, especially he's going to get pinched from both angles, right? B long as well as that entryway onto mid.
I mean, this is a successful fake out from Bleed. I mean, they stayed for so long until all of the Sky Util was used by PaperX. Now they don't really have great ways of getting info because something is stuck on this op.
Yeah. Might have to even use the TP. He gets a little bit too dicey on that positioning. There he goes, wants to go for the pick once again. Not gonna happen this time, yay! Oh my god! Something! Was that a no-scope operator shot? I think it is. Still though, calm down. Bleed pushing into the B side. They open it up somehow. That's going to be a 5 versus 4 on the retake, but they get the B side and hopefully plant the spike right here and now.
Yeah, but you already gave him TP control. Something's already there. Elbow already given over to Forsaken as well. The placements are not good. Scary finds one. He's going. He's ready for the jump shot. Scary holds on to Uga. He gets taken down. Now both members of Bleed stuck in the site. They have no idea that somebody's already gone through Elbow. It's a wraparound for Forsaken as PaperX will pick up a 6-round win.
Cuma di-pick begitu anjir.
What a shot from something. I mean, I would love to see this from Ye's POV because I wonder, did he hesitate or did he simply land? Oh
Buset.
He didn't hesitate.
No, he didn't. It's just extra bounce. That's all the time something needed.
Yeah.
One enemy remaining.
I'm just gonna, you know, be quiet a little bit just to let that shot sink in. What a shot!
Just another round for something.
Yeah.
Gak jelas anjir something.
That one
Bisa
hurts.
begitu loh.
That one hurts because if you
harusnya mati tuh ya
right,
ampun
he
Ye.
applies pressure on the other side, you get free plant. I mean, it's a whole different
Parah
round.
sih anjir.
Absolutely.
Hokinya kurang parah Ye. Dari tadi kena mulu.
That is a very aggressive use of the orbital strike, and it seems like PaperX are actually gonna just go chase for the kills right now. The separation onto the high tide.
Gak jelas. Gak jelas. Apaan tuh?
Just get out of the site itself. Reckless gonna have to pinch in from the other side, as we saw, but Mindfreak's gonna be able to stop him dead in the tracks. 2 players of Bleed to remain. Scary and Scary. No more Durian. Gets the first. He's always been good with these kind of situations. Not this time, as PaperX put their foot down on round 10.
Dude, Jing is so good at raise, and he even helps Divide go for a peek out with the blast pack. I don't even know if that's intentional, but this guy is goated with the blast packs. What a pitch in on the TP. No wonder they get those ultimates right there. The orbital strike to push them out. Jing goes through. Once he gets the kill, Divide's there to make sure that he can keep Jing alive.
Yeah.
And classic PaperX on Bind. You got to watch out for those TP plays.
What's the play now? Something. Just a quick little pick on short. Smoke. Viper Wall gets put on front of his face, so he backs away a little bit, but you do see there's 2 players right behind him waiting for that quick assist just in case.
So he's never pushed out on A short. He's never been on A short with the operator. See if they're ready for it. That boom bot does let Retla know. Yeah, both of them kind of catching sight of each other. The Mosh will not land all the way.
At least it does give a bit of positioning, repositioning for something here. Ye gets that quick little contact. They throw the Dizzy. That's a lot of resources put just to get a bit of control on Hookah right now, and still Bleed are unaware of what's kind of waiting for them on the other side of this B site.
The problem also is that they don't have control of the TPs on the extremities, right? So you can't go for something like a Seeker play on B, see if there's enough members. If not, we rotate. If you use the Seekers now, I mean, they'll let you know where they might be. But it's not going to be great. Counter Seekers coming out. Now that's a good timing from PaperX. Lets you know that it's not the B site. That's not the main force. These Seekers are all going to A short, and Bleed, they are being chased in by the Cabbages.
30 seconds
Only
left.
30 seconds. Now spotted. They have to follow the Seekers' lead.
There it is. Orbital strike as well, used to flush out Jing out of
Tuh
position.
timing.
Actually works in their favor, as well as the Seekers actually blinding something somehow. That's going to be the start of the take. Spike
Nice banget
got
Manfred.
landed, it got stopped, it got delayed. This is not good, they have to rush right in, but you can see already Paper X trying to delay as
Timing,
much as they
ada timing.
possibly can. This is not working in the favor of Paper X as Bleed stands their ground.
Yo,
Zest
no, kumano
coming
empat.
around, and something, he wants to go again for it.
Yo.
No scope, not gonna happen this time. Retlo with a little bit of friendly fire, but it's not gonna matter as Bleed pick up the round.
0,4.
Oh, that
No,
was
no,
a dicey one.
0,04
I mean,
aja.
Mindfree could have been the absolute
Masih
clutchest of
dapat loh.
kills to deny the spike
Blocks
plant there.
anjay.
Just a peek out of showers. Recognizing that Bleed didn't have the time, didn't have control of the entire site. Overall, Retla fires back, knows that he's stuck in the orbital strike. They do their best, but yeah, I mean, they're just falling all the way over from showers. If that no-scope had hit, I mean, something's in the waters today.
Yeah,
for
Masih
sure.
dapat loh.
Second no scope of the day, no? In any case, though, that was just some great contact and I think just great planting of their foot on the site. Not just the, planting the spike, but just holding their ground and making sure that they can just follow up what was already there. Oh, bit of trap being set up here between Devi as well as Jing.
These are getting shot down real fast. Bleed has to be ready for it. Sees him dash out, but that might be the extra trap now against Devi. Does he
No.
check for it? He
Yeah.
does. He's just going to check the
Yo,
close quarter. It's
no.
way too many smokes.
This wall is separating Jing as well as Zest. The rest of Bleed still somehow here on Hookah. Forsaken. Smokes dropping down. There's the quick little contact against
Sudah,
Ye.
apaan sih?
They
Masa
wanna
nggak
try
pikir
to
di
sneak right
situ?
then and
Serem
there,
banget
but
ya
not
Forsaken
gonna
ya.
happen this time as Jing is alone for the moment until the rest of Paper X come in to assist.
Now Bleed, they still have 40
Masa
seconds.
gitu nggak pikir
They
Cok?
had control of the
Awas
TP
lu.
as well, but they recognize that with the molly, with the smokes, it's safe. Now Retla still holding the lurk as well, but it's the long wraparound from something.
Santai
They know
dulu
that
lah,
Retla's
waktu
always
masih
been around
lama.
somewhere to watch for the flanks. Tyrion good for one on the box.
Jing. Oh, they get two. This is the
Winnable,
start
winnable,
steps to
winnable,
maybe
winnable.
retake the site.
But the reposition's there from Bleed, right? They still
Yeah.
want to hold on to a crossfire no matter which way
Bukannya
you
masih ada
come
nggak?
through.
Oh, nggak ada kan?
Zest constantly, oh, he's not ready for the
Oh,
timing
Apaan sih
there.
gitu?
It's
Scary.
scary all alone.
You can hear the footsteps too. Coming around the corner. No idea where something
Ooh,
is! But he
scary.
doesn't need
Let's go
to. He
scary.
reads him
Box.
like a book.
That was like a horror movie, right? You hear the footsteps get all the way right up to you, and then it
Masa
just disappears.
gitu,
You're like,
anjir?
where is he? Is he around the corner? Is he behind the door? And Scary just recognizes, if I'm not hearing you, you got to be above. Gets the right read. It's a clutch from Scary. A much-needed one. As now it's a 5-7 scoreline. Not bad at all from Bleed.
Yep. This is the Scary movie. You know? The story of how Scary just keeps clutching. Gets Paper X over and over and over again. What a monstrous read to clutch out that round, especially when, we saw something already kind of pincering in from that mid position. You called it already. Red Dot's been spotted. They started losing so much of, I guess, their post-plan threats.
That's, by the way, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt,
Yeah,
but
of course, go ahead.
that's RB's nephew.
Which one?
The
one-
little kid in the middle that's holding up the sign.
With
and
the blue
believe,
shirt?
Yeah, and I believe that kid's
Yeah.
father behind him is, of course, RB's relatives, brother-in-law, I believe. Just also
sick.
cheering for RB. The sign said, please watch RB over at VCT China as well. Yeah, they've been coming to a lot of the VCT games. It's great to see.
He's been doing really well.
Yeah, he's been playing his picks of agents as well.
Hell yeah.
Continuing to perform out there. But for now, eyes back on to another teammate of his, ex-teammate
Ya,
of
ini
his, Zest.
menang
Currently not having the greatest time on the
13.
scoreboard, but overall the team still hanging on
8
with
atau
5
9
points
lah,
going into the
13,
second
8,
half
13,
now on
9
defense for
gitu.
Bleed.
PRX menang nih, let's go lah.
See the offensive posture here for Paper X. Mindfree, he's got the stim beacon, so it's going to be a quick little run through on
Tau-taunya malah
B-main, or
13-7
E-long,
ya,
excuse
kagak
me.
dikasih lagi anjir.
Want to go for that quick little contact while Bleed, on the other
Scary
hand,
ngeri parah sih
is going to
bener.
go the other way on mid.
Jing,
Yeah,
Jing,
I'm curious,
aduh.
pushing out from here does not seem to be the best because you can get pinched. Okay, but they're going to go with no audio. That I don't mind. I was afraid if they were going to go for a pop flash. They hear one footstep. They know it's just one as well. It's a quick peek out, and now you know that's got to be a lurk.
They are pincered in, excuse me. So if we do see the push out from Devi, might be able to actually get a couple of unnoticed kills here from the rest of Bleed.
Yeah, that's the tricky part, right? You thought that Forsaken was the lurk. Are you ready for a second lurk?
They're so far from the situation too, especially when you can see that PRX have planted the spike on B. Mindfreak spots out 2 coming in through B long, has the assistance of something right now, and here comes the firefight. Who's gonna get right on top? It's gonna be PRX. 2 players of Bleed now coming in through TP, drops right in. They're not wasting any time anymore, and Durian, he's still pretty healthy. He still also has the wingman, so if he somehow manages to push into this one, gets that contact against Jing, it might actually work out in his favor. Absolutely not gonna happen at this point since Jing's just waiting outside a window.
Yeah, that frenzy doing wonders for Jing on that close range.
Dia
Able to
pakai
take out
klasiknya yang
the
ribet
Dizzy
ya.
and immediately get ready for the trade as well.
Pala aja langsung.
And of course, the late wraparound for Devi. Darian's ready for it. So the good news for Bleed is that they were ready for a potential extra flag, right? They heard the TP, they're ready for it. Even as they were going into the TP, you could see on the minimap that they were ready for a potential extra member. So they've got their heads on correctly here in the second half. But it's going to be Jing picking up quite a few kills, bringing him all the way up to 8.
Now they actually go for a massive peak, massive push on B.
Sembarangan banget anjir, pengen ngepick kagak di smoke dulu. Ambil up dari smoke anjir.
It's all those little things, right? In any case, high tide separating PRX Octagon onto the B site actually works out in their favor, just in case that someone's there pocketed themselves in. And now they're just holding off, waiting for those smokes to drop down, and they drop their own.
Yeah, and Bleed, you know, they think they might be able to try to buy enough time. You showed the sky earlier, you put up the toxic screen, maybe that forces them to rotate back over to A. So you try to be one step ahead in the mind games, but this is PRX we're talking about. They have the weapon advantage, they've got util, they will dive in. They always use that cove to kind of mask their entry. Works as a great shield, and now great post-plant scenario.
Yeah. You can already see what the plan is here for Bleed, is just not give the ult charges and just, you know, get taken by the spike explosion. Redla holding on Hookah, but no one's going to be exiting the site from there, so unfortunately he's not going to find any chance to maybe go for an exit frag. The Vice staying on the site, and he wants to go for the spike.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
This is so smart. So you have 3 Spectres, right?
Yang
and you're
penting
thinking,
kill
whatever, we drop 1 Spectre, it's not the end of the day. It's a bonus round anyway. But if we get those Seekers online early, that's huge.
Absolutely.
I mean, I love it from Devi.
Yeah. And I mean, it's still, what, the bonus round here for PRX? So he can just get himself a pistol if he wanted to, and that's going to be all hunky-dory for him.
He's even just going to buy up.
All right.
He says, you know what, with the plants and everything, we got enough money. Let's go right for it. I mean, either way you cut it, I think going for the ult orbs there, great plan from Devi.
Yeah, especially when he's on a support agent, right? Why not? It goes to show how big brain the fisherman truly is.
And we see just an early Trailblazer coming out from that TP. It doesn't really gain you too much though, right? It's not like Bleed is able to hold on to Shower's control. They're just masking it as if they are there. But we'll have to keep an eye on that if it comes into play. Now PRX, of course, they don't exactly have someone on the hard lurk, so not much information to work with themselves. So PRX, they will say, okay, let's re-clear where we think Bleed was, right, with the earlier smokes.
Yeah, if there's anyone holding Showers right now and they try to escape, that mosh pit is going to cut off their rotation. Not going to happen this time, though, as PRX just goes in for the mad contact. Scary now throws out the molly. Is that going to be enough? The flash onto Vi by himself. The wingman not going to do anything else. And Scary gets away. Forsaken somehow manages to sneak up into the front of the site. High Tide goes down. As the dust settles, it's a 3-on-3. Redla finds that rotation from something. Forsaken gonna have to go big onto this one, or else it's gonna be Mindfreak all on his own. Gets the personal contact, and the Phantom fails him. That's gonna be scary with the refrag and 3K.
Dafai kenapa dimajuin anjir, mending mundur lagi tadi
Yeah,
tuh.
good hold from Bleed, and I love that eventually they do take control of Showers. Now, it doesn't work out. They don't win the trades. That's unfortunate. But at the very least, you know, in the grand scheme of things, their early util not entirely wasted. They are able to get that information nice and early, allow Scary to set up right at the entrance there. Dodges just that guiding light just barely.
I like that. Just a quick, concise, nice.
Yeah, I mean, you got a long way to go. It's too early to celebrate just yet.
Fair enough. Oh, one more. Ah,
Jangan
that
ngepik.
hurts. He was just showing off his shoulder, and you already saw something was so prepared for it. The fight does fall to Retla, but a refrag was already inevitable. Durian just barely missed the peek out from something on Cubby.
That's a good call, though. It's a good call. Doesn't want to make sure that he's spotted. There's a showstopper. Doesn't find the kill. A good spread from Bleed. It's going to be the pickups from the backup. Showstopper just going to be that bait. That's a 3v1. Not even Scary going to go for this one. It's not like it's map point. It's not match point. Says we've got a longer way to go.
Yeah.
You'll back off.
They have some money to buy up
Bantu.
into that next round as well, but
That's a dicey one. I mean, 2 members at 0 creds, though.
yeah, for sure.
Dead even on 0. Haven't seen that too often.
Really?
Yeah, well, you know, now in this next round for Bleed, I mean, the Jewel Peaks, and this is the biggest change we've had with Bind, right, is not so much the map, but it's Sky.
Yeah.
Right, back in the day, you could always go for early guiding light, you know, test out B main, and back out of it. You can't do that anymore. You got to kind of risk your own life on there. If not, you will want to pair up with the Gecko. That way you can go for double util and then rotate one over to that A site. But that does mean you're kind of giving up control of, at the very least, A short.
Yeah. And because of that, right, players that can just kind of match up or get those good reads on the body language of, you know, their opponents, gets that one up, especially with something just, again knowing that because Zest hasn't truly spotted him, right? Because Zest was only, you get the line of sight from the eyes, so unless he like really goes out with his face peeking through something, he's not really going to get that contact that he wants to, even on the minimap, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so now it is going to be the early guiding light. Just wants to use it. If he doesn't get a spot, maybe even go for the orb. But now with that spot, okay, so Bleed, a bit of an adjustment, right? In the earlier rounds, they tried to put pressure and they tried to force a rotate out of PRX. This time they say, nah, it's PRX. They might still be coming here. Zest is ready for it with a Sheriff. Scary comes back for support. Pop flash just to buy time.
Ooh, too much. That's going to be the punish. Jane coming right in, a bit too over-aggressive as Retla coming around the corner. They have not cleared him at all, and he's about to explode. Actually repositions onto Octa. This is perfect right now, as it's a 2-prong pinch just in case, but the smoke separates Dorian from assisting Retla. That's going to be the unfortunate case right then and there, as a 2 versus 3 comes into swing. Dorian's got a chance maybe to peek out of elbow, but, I mean, Device just so aware.
Ngeri Dafai anjir.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you already cut off the backup. The only one that you haven't really cleared is going to be elbow, so PRX head on a swivel. It's a nice idea from Retla. I love the trigger discipline. Sticks around for it. Gets the weapon pickup as well, but just couldn't land the connecting shot.
Yeah.
Tuh kayak anjir, aneh banget anjir. Enak banget ya kalau Dava yang make phantom tuh ngeliatnya. Kayak gerakan jadi enteng, main flick paling atas bro. Biasanya kalau main flick paling atas, PRX lagi kalah. Dan pasti ada sesuatu yang salah juga nih. Tapi ini enggak cuy, main flick paling atas anjir. Menang. Wow. Kabur.
Gets away, both of them injured, but they can at least double up with Zest, who's all the way on B long to maybe get healed, but that's far too away. They need to still hold on to the back of the site here, just in case.
Yeah, but that means Shower's control gone. You can't pick up the Thrash again. You already took damage as well. Darion will be going for the heal, but now you give up that entire area. And PRX, they knew the op was here as well. Yeah. So they'll inch forward. They know which angles to now check for if the op is still set up on the A side. And now it's just going to be a classic 1-4. Forsaken will try to fish for information. Something's going to get the first pick. And Forsaken's now just on a free lurk.
Oh no. He's
wrapping all the way around. Yeah, I mean, he knows, he hears him as well, right? So he's just giving that information. They're just going to pinch on him right here. They're getting tied up. This is all set up for Forsaken. The flash as well. I mean, PRX absolutely toying with their food at this point. What a setup.
What a hard read. And now it's all down to Durian. We'll see here how the dedication of Durian sticks with the lead. Maybe. Then as I kind of ramp him up, that's just
13-6 ka aja, salah tebakan cuy. Gue nembak ke 13-8 atau 13-9.
More round, and PRX, they're shooting themselves into the playoffs.
Yeah, with a nice clean 2-0 as well. PRX obviously taking that kind of rough loss. Oh, what a drop there. And then a quick peek out against Ye. Ye was even holding that angle. Something just a bit quicker. One more round to go for PRX. Wrap up their league play here in stage 1 with a nice 2-0 victory. Lock themselves in for playoffs over from the Omega group.
Bleed trying to do something different right now with the triple stack on Hookah, waiting maybe for somebody like Jing. Forsaken possibly even, because they know that he's been lurking somewhere on B by himself. So they're trying to time it here, Will. Go for that push out, but Forsaken's gone the opposite direction. And just in case it gets a little bit too hairy, he can always TP out of showers.
Yeah, now the rest of the members, okay, it's just a showstopper, but yeah, he's not able to check all the corners right on time. And I was about to say, I mean, Bleed's positions, it did not seem great, right, compared to their teammates pushing all the way out of B. I mean, you're separated over on A, and Darian gets spotted right by the smoke.
And there's the flank.
It's all falling apart. Scary will get 1 kill, but it's still a 2v3. No control of this site by Bleed.
Satu udah ketahuan. Satu lagi belum. Bisa ini mah.
Reposition as much as they can. Wait
for the high dive
for Forsaken to come in, because now they know that 2 players of Bleed are going to be coming through here on a short reckoning for that extra bit of safety. They're trying to pop shot through the high tide here, maybe just to hopefully get a pick through the wall, through the smoke. There is just so much risk that Bleed are trying to get into as they rummage their way into the site.
Yeah, but look at Mindfreak. He's already on the wraparound once again. Are they going to be ready for it?
Guessing.
Got the pit.
He's got a volley too, so just in case he can't find him inside the Viper's pit, that's when it can be thrown out.
This is not the greatest spot, right? They don't realize that's on the other side. Now they know. Oh, what a shot Forsaken as well, and that will just be PRX ending the game 2-0. Not breaking a single sweat.
And they're going to be what? Our 4th team right now that will be heading into the playoffs here at Split 1. What?
I mean, PRX fans will say, never doubted him, right? Never was worried. I think some of you were shaking a little bit after that Team Secret game, but PRX, they're right back in form. And meanwhile, for Bleed, I mean, it's a bit of a heartbreaker. You know, we saw a couple of games where they looked like they might be starting to gain some confidence, but it's a tough schedule here at the end. Of course, they still have one more match coming up this weekend against DRX. See if Bleed can prove that they are still on the up and up, getting ready for stage 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of things that Ligia was mentioning in that interview where it feels like there's still so much more potential that can be developed here in Bleed. Right now, honestly, against this match against PRX, I think we still see that, right? There's so much more proactiveness that we've been seeing from Bleed here. Sure, there were some times where they would want to go for those challenge kills, but who wouldn't want to go for those, right? If you get an advantage, it's going to be perfect. Anyways, we're going to be passing it on to our panel to discuss this massive series even further.
Well, PRX can now breathe easy. They have the playoffs secured. And for Bleed, unfortunately, the story continues for them, and it's only going to get harder and harder from this point out.
Yeah, I mean, they're still at one more match. It's against an
Mampir yang sudah vote, yang sudah like, thank you. Sampai bertemu lagi di streaming berikutnya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.